Hi, welcome to Above Life channel. The purpose here is to inspire your spirit and to fill you with hope. Today, we're going to have a special guest in our channeling, and that is Kasem, American Top 40. Do you guys remember that? I'm so going to date myself, and that's okay. I have recently discovered on a local station here. Let me just put this up on a local station here, like the old school radio that they replay a remix of American Top 40 with Casey Kasem. And they have like some new person that does it. And then they do the long distance requests and dedications. So I thought it would be really fun to take that concept of that long distance request and dedication into our channeling this week. I thought that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. Plus, I'm really feeling nostalgic, looking back over the past few years and just listening to lots of music, and all those lovey-dovey songs are just getting me in that heart chakra. And so I thought maybe let's have some fun with that. And music is such a connection to our spirituality, to our intuition because of the energy. Music can help us to heal it. It can help us to feel our emotions and put words to what we're feeling in ways that we maybe can't ourselves. It can be very therapeutic. And so I thought, let's use Casey Kasem. First, we're going to have a chat with Casey for a little bit, and then we're going to do something kind of fun. All right. Are you guys ready? Hello in the chat. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you give me a thumbs up? Hey, Patty, hello to our moderator. Hi, Rebel. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see you all joining today. Thank you for the rainbows in the chat. Happy Pride Month. This is being recorded in June 2023. Okay, let me just check. Make sure I have a good handle on my sound here. Just pause for that. Nice to see you. Good morning. Oh, I see the live stream chat. So this is a live stream. And so the chat, I will interact with people in the chat. You guys know I try to channel every Monday an afterlife celebrity guest. So I want to interact with the chat a little bit. Nice to see you. Okay, let's see. Good. Okay, good. We got good. All right. How's the painting going? Well, for those of you who know, who've been watching my adventures, who follow me on my TikTok, my other site, my TikTok page, the painting's going okay. It's been a journey, so reflective of my life, but I'm not stressing about it. I'm painting my new room, my room and my new space and my bedroom, and I wanted to paint it a blue, but I went through this process of very blue. Like I painted it electric blue, like kind of like my shirt electric blue, like literally satin finish electric blue in a smallish room. I'm like, oh, it's too bright. It is gorgeous, but I would have never slept. I'd have been like electric blue. So I did mute it down, toned it down a bit. So it looks pretty good. Once I get pictures and things hung up in there, I'll share. It's a slow process, and that's okay. I need it to be a slow process. But I literally went to the store like 3 or 4, probably, let's see, in the last couple days, like 5 or 6 times, just trying to change the paint samples out. I actually painted one color and I didn't like it, so I repainted another one, and then I got not my accent color, but my main color, and then I had to return that because I didn't like that, and oh my God, it was a whole thing. Plus I had to patch, spackle and patch the walls and sand things and stuff like that, so I did that. Fill those holes and all that jazz. So I got to go touch up after this. That's what I'm going to do today. Before I have a couple sessions with clients. Thank goodness I have a couple sessions because I need to pay for my paint. So nice to see you. All right. Okay. All right, so let's talk to Casey. Kasem, come on in, Casey. He says, "Yeah, nice to meet you, Bridget. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. You are part of my adolescence, growing up in childhood, and recently rediscovering you. It makes me feel a little bit old, but it also gives me an appreciation for music and the impact it's had, I guess, on my life too, and specifically emotions and stuff. So, would love to chat with you a little bit about life and your work and yeah, can you what do you have to share?" He says, "Yeah, music." He says, "Yeah, music really is um he says it moves beyond art." He said it's living. It's like a breathing art form. Oh, jeez. Sorry. Of course, the doctor would call me back right now in this moment. Oh, figures. Anyway, continue. It's a living, breathing thing. Art is, music is. And he says, he's literally showing me symphonies. Like I literally see like musical notes, like kind of dancing, moving through the air energetically, like a little bit almost cartoony, like a schoolhouse rock, like kind of like that. He's showing me. He says the impact of music on the landscape. It it tells sometimes the deeper grassroots actuality is the word I'm gonna use. Actually what's happening. He says in the fabric of society. He says what's happening deep in the roots of society. Music it's not just a storyline. He says it's like blood flowing in the system of our bodies. He says it's like blood flowing in the system. It's like we need it. And he says music happens in a cyclical fashion. He says I've been around. I had been around a long time, and I could see the cycles that music would have. Right. So can you talk about that a little bit? Um, and he says nowadays, it's instantaneous. It's a reflection of the now, the moment, the now, but he says in the past, there was a delay. He said it would take time for the music to be created and then processed and then put out there and shared, and he said, so you would get a good wave of music that would reflect a recent past event or span of history, that there would be a lot of music around that particular event, like the Vietnam War era, he says, or the what are you showing me? He's showing me like pictures and images of history and historic events. And he says, like when the Berlin Wall fell and things, he says, music had a way of weaving us together globally. He says, not just in the United States. It kind of took us from this isolated, singular vision of who we are and what the world was. It was just the US, right? And maybe Canada, maybe Mexico, maybe the continent. And he says, and then put us into an expanded view of the globe. And he says some of that comes with television and access to information and news. And he says, but but it had been this kind of cycle, this life cycle of music would catch up with the history, and it would be sort of a almost like a Time magazine of history of what had happened the year before. He says the year prior. He says about a year, 8 to 18 months. I see eight. I don't know if that means 8 months or 18 months. I think 8 months to a year. Yeah, he says, yeah, closer to a year, 12 months to 18, 12 to 18 months. He said it would come out. And it would come out in batches, he said, because people would go into the studios and they would release, they would record a bunch of things. They might test an audience and do like maybe one hit, and that's when you get the one hit wonders. But then if they were signed to a contract or to make a record or an album, he says, then you would get an immersion of a certain kind of type of sound, not just from that artist, but from other artists too. He says you would notice like the themes. It's like very much, he says, like style of clothing, like a fashion show, how fashion is cyclical. It's like that, and how fashion reflects society. and the values or the beliefs of the time. If you think about it, he says, think about the hippies like that. You can think about that. You can see that. And now he says like the things with like the 90s are coming back, and now the 80s are coming back. And then he says, so it's a it's not a regurgitating. It's not like that. He says it's more like and it's not a reliving, it's like a revival of. And he says, in an effort to understand society as a whole, and an effort to understand and give meaning to what was happening at the time, and the context around that. And music does that. He says music does that. Okay, that's really deep, way deeper than I thought. How I didn't necessarily expect you. He says, I have been a radio personality my entire life. And he says, and your voice is so distinctive. And he says, it helps. He says, like Wolfman Jack. And I'm like, okay, like that. And then I thought about after you, like there was another one, Rick Dees. You guys remember that? Like that. Wolfman Jack, Rick Dees, that kind of thing. I don't remember Wolfman Jack. Like I didn't listen to him. But he's reflecting to different personalities that are distinctive because of their voice. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I personally love that. I love voice and articulation. I love to talk, so I can feel that, um, very much, that kinship. Can you, what was your favorite part about I'm gonna focus on American Top 40, guys. I feel like he has a daughter. He's making mention of somebody because he's referring to my kid, one of my daughter, who's my oldest. And so, either his oldest child has an M name, or he's referring to a daughter, FYI. And then also some kind of a legacy. I don't know if he left money to something, kind of a charity or something like that, because he's also showing me that. Something about the money or inheritance and some kind of legacy or charity or foundation or something like that. Um, and then he's showing me people like I'm kind of getting a vibe like this might just be a metaphor. This might not be the exact same thing. Please do not make it literal. But kind of like a St. Jude's vibe, like with kids or people who like people trying to walk or something. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's like a stroke recovery scenario or if it's like a stroke. He's showing me Dick Clark. If it's like a stroke situation and I'm recovering from that, or I'm in rehab, or if it's like a veteran scenario where people are learning to walk again because of war stuff, there's something like that. There's something about that. Um, okay, keep going. Yeah, I'm curious about the American Top 40 piece. Like, what did you love about that? What was the thing that you really maybe enjoyed the most about doing the show? Okay. He says the historic factual things, the things that he could share that were that the people on the show would research and share about something unique that you didn't know about the musician or the band or the particular song, that it was remade 4 times and the original person. He says, like, going back and giving credit to the person who had the idea originally, or who wrote the music originally, or how he says how people kind of came into or kind of fell into celebrity or fell into the music world, kind of a thing. He says, and he said, and the entertainment industry, he says the entertainment business is all overlapped. Everything is all overlapped. And in the early days, if people were doing more than just writing music or singing music, they were all encompassing. He says if they could act, they could sing, they could dance. He said that was like the thing, that was like the focus. You needed to be very well rounded. And he said, but then over time, he said, I would say closer into like the late 60s and the 70s, it was much more, he said, focused, much more niched, where people would focus on like, I'm gonna become like a country music star, I'm gonna become a rhythm and blues singer, I'm gonna become an R&B artist, or I'm gonna become a, like he said, so eventually people started to very niche out, he says, in the different genres of music. And when things could funnel into the American Top 40, he says, then everybody was listening to songs, sometimes would pull from different charts, like the gospels a bit, you could get different kinds of flavors of music that weren't trying to be made mainstream, but they were, he He says it's interesting over time to see all the different, and so he's given us all this factual, like, yeah, there's so much, it's so much more than just about the music, and the music itself is enough, he says. Okay. So it's about not just the people either. It's about like giving the credit and then recognizing the trends and the patterns and understanding the industry itself as a whole, not the business side of it, but the creative artistry side of it, and then the patterns and the trends to it. So it's fascinating. It's almost like he's a journalist, is how it feels like, for the trends in music. It's interesting. That's the vibe I get. That's the part he likes about him, is that piece, that factual humanity, historic component. Okay. So let's do a long distance dedication, shall we? Yes, let's do that. He says, is there someone that would like to volunteer or make a request? So, how the long distance dedication works, you guys, is that you make a request and I will channel or tap into that person. It can be a person that you know personally, or a famous celebrity, um, something like that. That will be the long distance dedication. Long distance, as in the afterlife. So, who would you like to hear from? Is that a good way to do it? Yeah, I think so too. So, who would you like to hear from? I'm trying to feel in a good one. Oh, yeah, Freddie. Freddie would be great. Did you meet Freddie Mercury? Oh, what an interesting young man. He says, what an interesting young man. Such a showman. Such a showman. Quite a phenomena, he says. That's what he's saying about Freddie Mercury. Oops. Uh-oh. Sorry, I think I pushed a button I didn't mean to push. These are all unique people that I don't know how to handle. Somebody else said, Freddie. We channel Freddie an awful lot, you guys. Oh, Jim Morrison. We never channel him, do we? We've never done him. Let's do that. Let's try that. Casey, I'm going to need your help with that. Mm. Can you do it? Oh, God, I don't know if I have the brain power to do this one. Let's see. This is like two new people at the same time. I don't know if I can do it. Let's see. See if I can pull them in. Ah, he had quite an impact on the landscape. You might want to meet him. Hey, okay. Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you. Okay. He's kind of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the songs and the music he sings. I can't hear. I can't. Can you name some of his songs, you guys, so I can feel into that? He sounds like this. Hey, hey. He sounds like he's maybe either smoked a bit, and I'm not sure what he's been smoking, but I can see he's smoked a bit. It seems like he's smoked a bit. Oh, come on, baby, light my fire. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he feels kind of like he's like, hey, yeah, hey, like that kind of vibe I get. Um, he says, yeah, the long-haired hippie people, kind of like that. He says, mm. Yeah, like literally, oh my God. Okay, so it literally makes me feel like it feels like the room is filled with some intoxicant. Is how it feels right now, you guys. I I see a guitar and like yeah. Did he play like an electric guitar or something? Or what's the deal with that? And I'm getting a Lenny Kravitz vibe about him. Is there a familiarity between the two of them? I can see it. Like it's intense. Like that's a thing. Mm, yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, I can feel it." It's almost like, it's kinda like rock in a different way. It's like, forgive me, it's gonna be like the big hair bands, but in that genre, right? He's showing me the mm, God, there's multiple people that are connected to Jim Morrison. Did he have famous people in his band? Because I can see him, but I can't quite it's like, yeah, like like it seems like he's high, like really high. High as a freaking kite. Would that be accurate? Because he's like, I'm like trying to tap in and it's like, and all I can do is see him playing. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know anything about how to don't know anything about I don't know much about him, I gotta say. Um he smoked a lot of weed, I can tell you that. Can you Casey just said, "Yeah, welcome to my world." He says, "Yeah," he says, "Yeah, I got a story about that." And he says, it can be very difficult interviewing some of these guys," and he uses the word guys, "in these bands because you don't really know what you're gonna get." He says they could be hungover, high, or coming off something, and they sound awful, just awful, and it's not at all what you expect, and he says, "And you gotta kinda make them look good," and there's many a times, he says, when I recorded an interview that I said, we can't play this, we can't use this, there's nothing in here we can use." So, interesting. So what can we ask Jim Morrison? "Hey, what inspired you?" Oh god, he's showing me tons of women, okay. Um, okay, he says, like, the free love movement, um, just spilling over into this, he says this energy of, not he said, like, free love movement is what I can translate it into, and he says this energy of not having the I can't pick words that are gonna match his because it's too, like that right now. Um, I'll try to see if I can ground it. The freedom. He says the freedom of it's not it's beyond, so much more, man. He says so much more than freedom of expression. It's about the fight against oppression by freeing your spirit, by being a lover of life and allowing yourself to be loved by life and to really give everything you have to the art. And he says, I wasn't always, you make it, he says, I know you make it seem like I was just this like pothead. He says, and he says, you got to understand that my creativity was deep. It was hardcore. And in order to access that place, to really want to move past the hate of the world that is pushed upon us, he says, you got to be willing to go to places that society doesn't want you to go or doesn't allow you to go. And he says, there's a lot of like you guys physical body love, like there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of um, physicality and the desire for the feel good. And it's like that's kind of what he wants to tap into and be with. And he says the words that came from places of dipping into the depths of my soul. He says the darkness, but not dwelling there, not staying there, bringing up those pieces of just that piercing, those piercing daggers, and making them into something that is worth sharing, worthy of bringing up to the light and allowing that energy to be transformed. Now I can feel I'm moving into ascended master, like almost energy. Thank God. Oh my God, you guys, like an ascension kind of energy. Casey's like, wow. Casey's like, this is good. This is good stuff. Casey's like, this is good. Wow. Okay. All right, Jim. It looks like he has kids too. Did he have a daughter also? Did they both have daughters? What's with the young woman? It's an M. If I think it's an M name. He says, "Man, I probably have many kids I don't even know about." He's making me feel like almost commune like energy or like hippie kind of free love kind of thing. But not in a judgy, like, negative way necessarily, just in an understanding way of the culture, of the time, of where the energy came from, because he says there's so much oppression and so much fighting and so much, like, war energy that he says you gotta find yourself in yourself and with other people who get it, and he says, and to, try to mix those things, put those things together and express that was that's where that magic was. He says that's where that, like, mystical, and it kinda looks like incense, like, that's the incense instead of the pot, you know what I mean? Like, the different variations of the smoke in the air, you know? It's like the incense, the perfumed scent of things, that was what the music was, you know? That's what he's sharing. So, alright. Alright, my friends, should we do another? Should we see if we can do another? Let's see if we can do a personal one for somebody. Let's do that. Ready, Casey? Thank you, Jim. Jim Morrison. Thank you, Jim. Oh, the doors. Yeah. Okay. I kept seeing a door and fire. So I'm like, what? I did not. My brain is not. Um, I must need some more coffee. I'm drinking water now, though. I'm trying not to get too much coffee. I don't want to get all shaky. Got to touch up paint today. Trying to be healthier too. I'm drinking way too much coffee. Oh, the Fleetwood Mac woman. Thank you, Suzanne. Remind me again, and I'll try to do that on another. Let me just look at my. Patty, what's your dad's name? Can you type it in the chat? Because I can see him in the afterlife. Let's bring him in. I'm going to just be clear with everybody. Patty's a viewer who has appointed herself as moderator, oh gosh, a month or two ago. And Patty's around a lot. So I appreciate her work, her support just in general. But she and I have not had session. I don't think, have we ever had private session? Because I don't feel like we have. I don't know much about you, Patty, except that you're a viewer and you're really great in the chat helping out as a mod. Patrick. No, not yet. Yeah, we haven't had session. Okay, so we're going to channel Patty's dad. I'm going to bring Patty's dad in as a long distance dedication. Okay, just a couple of things here. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm leaning forward. I'm leaning way forward. I feel like I'm going to fall over, leaning way forward, leaning in, leaning way forward, leaning way forward. Um, Leaning way forward. I see a couple of images coming through right away. You're gonna have to interact with me just a little bit in the chat to help fill in the gaps and the blanks here as I'm getting bits and pieces. I see puzzles, like somebody leaning over a table doing puzzles, but I see leaning. He's leaning, and I don't know if that means he had a balance issue or he's leaning in to try to see something he can't see very well, or if he has a balance issue. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Um, I see a couple different things. There's other men in your um, lineage also. It looks like two grandfathers also. I see somebody with suspenders and like what looks like a plaid shirt or a flannel shirt, which kind of represents usually a grandfather energy for me. I see a smoker as well, but I'm trying to tap into dad. So let's see what dad is. And I literally see somebody leaning over a table with a puzzle pieces. Does this mean anything to you, Patty? I'm also going to tap into a grandma or a grandmother figure or his mom in the afterlife. I'm sorry, Patty, am I overwhelming you? Yes, dad was a heavy smoker. Thank you, Patty. Okay. Um, but it also looks like there is some kind of hereditary thing like heart condition. Was there heart issues on his side of the family? Or was that your mom's dad that died of a heart thing? Hmm. Hey, you guys, while I'm chatting with Patty and bringing in her dad, he had balance issues at the end. Okay. All right. I do groups. I'm doing a inspired psychic experience group where I do stuff kind of like this, psychic reading, tapping into somebody from the afterlife to get a few bits and pieces of a message for you in a small group setting, actually using Zoom. So you'll see in the description of this video, there will be an opportunity in July. I think it's the 20th of July. I said it for that you can join the small group, and the space is limited to I think 12. So you can join that if you'd like. It is a service that I offer. Okay. Can you answer me about your mom's dad? Mom's dad had a heart attack. Okay. They all smoked. Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe it's Jim Morrison bringing in all the smoke stuff that we're channeling. I don't know. Smoke and mirrors, baby. Smoke and mirrors. Okay. Is there a grandson or somebody that's named after your dad, has a middle name, or was your dad named after somebody with a middle name that's the same or a first name that's the same? It might be two levels down. So it's either like a grandpa, dad and then grandson or somebody that's younger, like if you have kids or your son. Oh, okay. See, this is how this works. Okay, so there's a nod from your dad to your son. I also see cars, like gorgeous old cars. Was a car a really big deal for your dad, or is there like a fancy car or something that was or passed down, or is it your kid that has a fancy, nice car that your dad is acknowledging? Sorry for the delay, you guys. I'm reading the chat and responding to her as we're doing this long distance request and dedication for Patty with Casey Kasem and I. Yes, a Cadillac, my dad's. Yes, his Cadillac. Okay. Ah, it's Caddy. Nice. Sweet ride. I also see motorcycles. What's with the motorcycles? Is that you? You and your significant other? Or what's the deal with the motorcycles? Who has the motorcycles? Could be a brother, yours, you, your hubby, your brother. Who has motorcycle? What's a motorcycle thing? And I hear the revving up, vroom, vroom, like that kind of thing. And I see like a Harley Davidson symbol, but I don't think it's a Harley. I think it's something else. Some other brand. Some other brand. It's a motorcycle connection. Can you think of it? If not, it's okay. Don't make it fit. Just write it down because it'll come up later. It could be like a neighbor, a friend. So you could be talking to somebody at dinner or lunch or something, and all of a sudden you mention it, and it's because you're the messenger for somebody, you're giving them information. He had bikes when we were kids. Oh, you got hurt badly on a bike, on a motorcycle? Like a motorcycle accident? Yes. Oh, did you guys hear that? You can't make this up. This is how psychic works. This is how psychic works. There's also something related to dad that's coming up. Is it an anniversary, a birthday, or is he acknowledging an anniversary or a birthday? Oh, and you got blood in his car? You got hurt really bad in a motorcycle accident and you got blood in his car. Okay. Woo, Patty. So, what is the important date that's related to dad or you? So, there's an acknowledgement of an important date. What is it? My mom and dad's anniversary was at the end of May. No, it feels like it's a forward. It's either June or July or the very first part of August, like August 2nd, 3rd, 4th, August. All of a sudden, they just brought me into August 2nd. Does that have a meaning to you? Does that mean something? Is something coming up? Is somebody graduating? Is there a wedding? My birthday is June 20th. Okay, happy birthday. All right. Are you planning a move? Are you or somebody in your immediate family, like you, your kids, or siblings, moving? My daughter is in July 1st. Oh, her birthday is. Oh, is she moving? Is she moving in July or is that her birthday? Oh, that's so sweet. Rebels saying happy birthday, Patty. Birthday. Okay. All right. So you got a couple birthdays coming up. Double deckers. Double deckers do 2 generations. That's beautiful. Good. Okay. What about the move piece? There's a move, something about a move. If it's not a move, it's renovations or something. We moved a lot in the military. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So that is, I'm trying to see if there's any. Okay. Then I see some yellow. He's showing me yellow flowers. Looks like daffodils. Military connection, probably. Daffodils, yellow daffodils, solar plexus, spirit, intuition, honor and connection. I see like a cemetery. So I don't know if you go visit or if you've gone to visit recently. Also grandmother, like a really sweet tie for you to a grandmother, a really sweet grandma tie. I don't know what that's about. Um, oh, your mom's flower is the daffodil. Okay. There you go. All right. Those are the messages when I asked for a message. That's what you're getting. You're getting the symbolism, the metaphor. You guys, this is how spirit speaks. Pay attention. Speaks in metaphor, in symbol. That's what meaning is about. It's not hard. It's not extravagant. It's not radically strange and odd and mystical. It's basic. It's a bird. It's a flower. It's a, a, a an infinity sign, a trisket, whatever. Like it's that. It's not complicated. Grandma, yeah. Okay. All right, Patty, there you are. That is our long distance request and dedication for Patty from her dad and some of her other loved ones in the afterlife. All right. And we also chatted with Jim Morrison briefly when I was able to get off the high and ground a little bit. We probably need to revisit him and have a conversation with him, don't you guys think? Yeah, I think so too. Um, that'll be good. Wow, you're welcome very much. You're welcome. Welcome. Thank you for moderating. All right, so this has been another episode in Above Life channel. I hope we've inspired your spirit and filled you with hope today and encouraged you to live your life with Casey Kasem in the afterlife, Jim Morrison, and Patty's dad. Today we did something a little unique and different. I really enjoyed this. This was kind of fun. Maybe we should have a little section of our channeling video where we connect with the live stream when I'm doing that. That would be so fun. It was so much fun. Again, you have the opportunity to work with me in a small group setting to do like just a kind of old school psychic readings like that, like boom, 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 rapid readings in a small group setting. It's like limited. I think I limited it to 12. And it's the next one is in July. I think it's July 20th. And you can sign up now for that. In the description of this video, when it goes live, you can register. You can click the link and register for it. Okay. All right. right, I see everybody talking in the chat. So great. I love it when you guys are connecting with each other. That makes me so happy in the community of Above Life channel. I love it. All right, so this is encouragement to live your life. It's your life after all, and you get to live it. Just live it. Who's going to help me paint today? I just touching up. Got to take the tape off and touch up. And who's going to help me move too? I need some help with the moving the dresser. Have a good week. Thanks for being here. And yes, I am doing sessions. There will also be links to that in the description as well. All right. Take care, everybody. You guys are awesome. I love watching you guys talk to each other in the chat. Oh, it warms my heart. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a great week.